Yo, what's up guys, TotoTriceps here, and I'm here to ask the question: can you beat Elden Ring only using staffs? Now I know at first glance it may seem like something impossible to do, and believe me, I thought so too at some point, but if you set up our rules for this run right, it becomes very much feasible. Still, this is not going to be a walk in the park. So, the rules for this run are: the only direct damage I can do must come from staffs. That means something like spirit summons is allowed, but I'm only allowed to use them when there is absolutely no reasonable way to clear the obstacle in front of us. Second, I can cast buffs with the staff, but no offensive magic. That's it. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get to the meat of the video. First of all, we started as an astrologer, because we are going to need the stats that it provides, as we will be in desperate need of stat points in the early game. We go on to talk to Melina to get our trusted steed, and our first objective for this run is going to be to get the meteorite staff. This is the strongest damaging early game staff to my knowledge that we can get, so we teleport our way to Caelid and pick up the staff in the rotting lake by some ruins. Unfortunately for me, I didn't realize how bad melee damage is on staffs until I got to the first boss. Anyway, with the staff in hand, I decided that going to Patches is the right choice. Why, you may ask? Because he will sell us the Margit Shackle, which can bind Margit to the ground for a couple of seconds to give us an opening for our attacks. That's gonna be really important for this run here. But before I could get to Patches, I had to fend off an invading NPC called Nerijus. This was my first taste of what's to come in this run. I do absolutely no damage to this guy, and Bloody Finger Hunter Jura just can't quite defeat him on his own. So I tried a different approach and just run away from him until he despawned. And actually that solved the problem for some reason. With him out of the way, we can enter Patches Cave. Now, Patches is not really a difficult boss. Even with us doing like 5 damage per hit to him, I can still find a way for him to spit that orange fog and just punish him with a jumping heavy attack. The most difficult part of this run was how long it took. I battered Patches for 30 minutes straight without stopping, and then finally he growled for mercy. Now I only needed a farming spot so I can get some runes to buy the Margit Shackle, and I know just the right place. With the teleporter behind the third church of Marika, we can get our ass to the Bestial Sanctum, and from there we can go to the boulder farming spot. Perfect for someone who can't actually kill enemies for now. After a couple of minutes of grinding, I go and buy the Margit Shackle from Patches. Now let's try and tackle Margit with this setup. Yeah, we deal 7 damage per attack. With the boss having around 4000 HP, we are going to have to put these foolish ambitions to rest. By the way, there is something we can do. There is an AI break that we can perform on Margit by using the shackle just outside the boss arena and then entering it. This will make Margit stay still while we wail on him. We must only be careful not to break his stance, otherwise he will return to life and beat the hell out of us. So what I came up with was doing 12 strikes and then waiting for 12 seconds to let him recover his posture meter. From there on out, it was just a 45-minute grind fest to kill him. I really wanted to fight him normally, but I'm an engineering student and I don't have 1 month to waste on getting good enough just to beat this one boss. So we're going to use these exploits whenever necessary. Also, I really like finding these bugs and glitches. It's really cool when you find a glitch that not many people find useful and you actually make some use of it. Anyway, with Margit down, we stroll through Stormvale Castle to get to the reason why we came here first. Our boy Rogier here sells us the only Ash of War that can be put on staffs, the spinning weapon. Now let's test this bad boy out. Oh, okay, I get it, Miyazaki. For some reason, the only Ash of War that's available for staffs also sucks giant gorilla ass. Don't know what they were thinking with this one. But I didn't want to give up just yet. We may still be able to make use of it in a way. There exists a staff with bleed buildup in the game, the Staff of the Guilty. It can be farmed from a single enemy very early in Liurnia. Now killing the enemy takes quite a bit of time, and farming it would take lots more. So I kill it once with the staff to show that it's possible, and then just spam some magic for the farming process to preserve my sanity in this run. I know this goes against the rules, but this video would never be released if I had to farm this guy for a week. All the bosses are still going to be killed by the rules, and that's really what matters here. With the staff in hand, let's go pay a visit to our good friend Grail. With bleed on the staff and spinning weapon, we just need to scratch his ass for a couple of minutes for a juicy amount of runes that we desperately need. Now with the spinning weapon Ash of War being total garbage, there is only one hope for this run, and that's Renala's Carian Regal Scepter. It has spinning weapon on it, but it's actually a good attack, like really good, but also really slow. The problem here is obvious. We need to kill Renala with just a staff, sheesh. One problem at a time. After getting into the academy, the first obstacle before Renala is her former husband's doggy. As with Margit, fighting him normally would require a literal god to do it. I'll put links of fist-only kills of bosses into the description so that you know that it's possible to defeat them in a normal way. As I'm nowhere near close to that level of skill, we will perform another AI break here. If we get one of the scholars to shoot us just as we enter the fog gate, he will push us in such a way that the game won't register us going through the fog gate. Thus, it won't activate the boss fight. Then we can just admire this beautiful dog while we beat him with our bleeding stick to death. Now on to Renala. This fight is going to be a disaster. We again don't do any damage to her and there are no clever glitches that we can abuse here. We are going to have to figure something out. But before that we go and collect some of the upgrades that we will need later, like golden seeds and sacred tears. We also grab both parts of the medallion so that we can activate the deck to slip to access the Altus Plateau. Back to Renala. Bleeding her out in the first phase seems to be like the way to go here. That way I can actually get to her second phase. The only problem with the second phase is the exact problem that we had with Margit and the wolf. It would take a literal god to do it, and countless of hours of getting good. Someone actually beat her with just their bare fists and the fight took him like 2.5 hours to complete. Needless to say, we are going to use our one and only spirit summon in this run. The Rod Dog is going to be my choice. He applies Scarlet Rod pretty easily on her. Then with just a little bit of fighting on our side, Renala goes down. Now we can finally get ourselves a real weapon, the Carian Regal Scepter. Now I just need 60 intelligence to wield it, Jesus. 60 intelligence. First we grab the helm that gives us +6 to intelligence at the cost of health. Then we pick up the intelligence crystal tier that gives us +10 intelligence for 3 minutes. We also stop by our boy EG to get some summer smithing stones, well, after farming at least. Alexander is next on my hit list. I need his talisman that boosts weapon skills. So we get him out of his hole and beat him with a stick. Sorry Alexander, you won't be forgotten. Now let's give Godric a try, shall we? It is most definitely doable, but let's make our lives a little bit easier and get more upgrades and level ups first. Time for some Virgin Abductor speedrun strats to Volcano Manor. We pick up the +5 and +6 Somber Smithing Stones, and after grinding for a couple of hours and days, we give Godric another try. This time it was actually pretty easy. With better armor and a lot more health, we can pretty much just trade attacks with him, and he won't stand a chance. My staff does a ton of damage, but it locks us into a pretty long animation. I will have to keep that in mind for later bosses. Let's finish our setup for now. I need to kill the Earthtree Avatar in Liurnia for the Magic Shrouding Crack tier. That boosts my magic damage by 20% for 3 minutes straight. We just obliterate the tree and move on with our lives. Next, I would like to get my hands on the Magic Scorpion Charm. Unfortunately, it is locked behind Selovis' questline, so this one is gonna take a while. After going through the Carian Manor, we encounter the ghost of Christmas past, Loretta. Surprisingly, she was actually pretty easy to defeat, believe it or not. I guess we are just a bit over level for this area, as she falls very easily. Anyway, with her out of the way, we talk to our waifu Rani, and then to Selovis. I'll spare you the details, but after getting to Altus Plateau and collecting the Amber Starlight Shard, Selovis finally gives us the Magic Scorpion Charm. Increases our magic damage by 12% at the cost of taking more damage. Okay, let's give our boy Draconic Tree Sentinel a try. I sneak past him and just unload my damage. Good damage, but I think we can do better. I'll be back to get it. Let's go and pick up one more upgrade to our setup. After going through the Academy Crystal Caverns and defeating the Crystal Duo without too much trouble, they seem to be pretty weak to spinning weapon apparently. We get our reward, Terra Magica. Cast this and stand in it and you get a whopping 35 magic damage increase. Let's go back to our Pal 3 Sentinel now. Again, I sneak up behind him and... oh yeah, I like this damage output a lot more. He's still not an easy fight as he doesn't chill at all and we trade our lives to actually defeat him. Well, time to head into the capital city. After performing some slick speedrun strats to skip the entire city, we go back to the round table to collect the Spellblade set. Wearing this set, I get an 8% increase to spinning weapon damage. I might as well collect some more upgrades while I'm at it. We get a +7 Somber in the sewers, a +8 and +9 in the Wastelands of Caleb. Time to knock out the next upcoming bosses. Golfrey was actually pretty easy. I was dealing so much damage at this point that it didn't even matter that the boss was hitting us. Man, spinning weapon is actually pretty strong. I am going to have to do a skills only run eventually. Morgoth was a bit more of a tough nut to crack, but we do an absurd amount of damage that all it took to bring him down was just to set up Terra Magica and fight him on it. Also, abusing his huge openings in the second phase helped in this fight immensely as well. I actually got Morgoth down on my second attempt. Moving on to the mountaintops of the giants. Not too much to see or do here, we just run through everything to get to the fire giant as per usual. I'm starting to believe that no challenge run is ever going to make fire giant an easy fight. With his ridiculous health bar and crazy fast attacks for someone with only one leg, We are in for a fight of our lives, but before I continue to bang my head against a brick wall, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video so far, helps me out a lot. Anyway, let's pick up one more talisman, the ritual sword talisman that is. Boost my damage by 10% while I'm at full health. I'm gonna need it. Back to the fire giant. This fight was just about will I get good enough RNG to kill him. All the fights from here on out will be like that. After about 10 plus tries, I finally managed to beat him with my beautiful stick. Fire giant down. After ascending the kill on the first flame and talking to Melina, we decide to commit the cardinal sin together. And after a huge hangover, I find myself awake at a fucking flying city, man. Man, gotta say, Farum Azula has got to be one of the best places in the game in terms of design. Anyway, before we encounter the Godskin duo, we need to prepare ourselves. Gotta go gather a lot of crack pots. We are going to use another speedrun strat here. Sleeping pots just work wonderfully against them. They're quite necessary because of our slow attack speed, we would literally never be able to beat them without making them go to sleep first. In any case, after a few nap times, the Godskin duo goes down. Honestly, with this strategy, they will never be a difficult boss fight to defeat again. Moving on through this place, I get completely destroyed by eagles and bombarded with lightning by a dragon just to pick up the plus 10 Somber Smithing Stone. Now we can finally upgrade our staff to the maximum level. Passing through everything on our way, we encounter the bane of my existence, Malikev the Black Blade. This one is going to be really hard. Malikev just has the ability to end my existence in one single swoop. Not to mention that his first phase is also not a walk in the park by any means. There really is no good way to actually make this fight easier. Our attack is just so hard to time in a way that it can punish him effectively. It took like 20 plus tries to somewhat figure out what to do here. But I still would require a lot of RNG to actually manage to pull it off and beat him. The main strategy I had is to cast Terra Magica just after he enters his second phase, then avoid his swipe by a hair and use that window of opportunity to punish him severely. Then it was just a matter of getting lucky enough to find another attack to punish. With God on my side, we finally managed to take down Malikev. This one took a long time. Only 3 bosses remaining. Gideon is first. As per usual, he offers no real threat whatsoever, especially because he allows me to set up my Terra Magica right in front of his nose. Bye bye Gideon. On to my favorite boss in the game, Godfrey the First Elden Lord. This one was a challenge for sure, but after the hell called Malikev, nothing could stop me. I just needed to figure out how to consistently get into his second phase and then just get a little bit lucky in that one. But before that, I wanted to clear Millicent's questline so I can get the Millicent prosthesis, which boosts my damage upon consecutive hits. I also forgot to mention that I also have the Winged Sword insignia that does pretty much the same thing, and both of those talismans actually stack. With all that in hand, it was time to finally get good at this game. Back to Godfrey. We set up our Terra Magica and tried to stay in it while we fight him. Took me a couple of tries to figure him out, but we eventually got him to second phase. Now for some more speedrun shenanigans. We abuse his poor tracking and punish his mistakes. After that we only need to get a little bit of good RNG and that was all she wrote, baby. Godfrey the First Elden Lord is finally down. I was super stoked after this fight. Only the final boss remains before me and my glory. And luckily I have gotten good practice with Radagon thanks to my previous challenge run. So this time Radagon was actually a piece of cake. Guess the best weapon to defeat Radagon is his ex-wife's staff. Weird. Anyway, we murder Radagon and go on to LBs. Gotta say, this one was a lot tougher this time for some reason. We deal an acceptable amount of damage to him, it's just that RNG was not on my side with him today. So I needed to actually get good with him here. We are really squishy so he can kill us very quickly, plus the fight lasts a long time so my dodges have to be on point here. It took a few tries, mostly just because I got fucked by his Elden Stars combo with another attack. But after hours of intense fighting and 18 hours in total to complete this run, Elden Beast and Radagon cease to exist and I can ascend my rightful throne as the man who defeated the entirety of Elden Ring with mostly just a staff. Like and subscribe for more of these stupid challenges and I'll see you next time. TotoTriceps out.